Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is going to be our recap for Total Madness Episode 2. And as always, my name is Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, hey, hey.
And my best friend, Jake, from quarantine.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Don't touch that mic, because it'll do that.
Hey, listen, no, I got a kitten, and she's jumping all around my feet. So, shout out to her, Regina.
Well, we're going to give a different shout out because we were joined really last minute by, I guess, our current first returning guest at this point, Merrie Roda.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
So, what's crazy?
Right, what's up?
I texted you last week, but I realized that I haven't texted you in like a year or something, and I thought maybe you had a different number because you're in Florida now and you're not in New York.
No, I just ignore everything for the most of the time. It's not you, it's me.
Listen,
it's the coronavirus.
If it was me, I completely understand it, but you just kind of jumped on Twitter tonight.
I've been ignoring Zach's text messages for the last 2 months, so
absolutely,
you're fitting in well.
Yeah, you're basically an honorary member at this point. So yeah, again, you were our first confirmed interview. Brandon Nelson jumped in there just a week before we were able to do it. But again, I made fun of your weird pants that looked like one big tube, and then we became best friends from there. So you kind of gave us our jumping off point. So how's everything going in Florida for you, other than the quarantine?
Everything is going wherever. I guess we all don't really know where that might be. I moved out here for a really great job, and now I don't know what's going on, so everything's very stressful. But we do all just have to be kind of thankful for our health.
Yes.
And that we're not dealing with it firsthand, because I know a lot of people in New York, and it's New
York's
kind of outrageous.
We have a handful of patrons that are up in New York and Connecticut and stuff, and they're talking about how rough it is up there.
Yeah, it's not normal. So
yeah. So again, we're not going to dwell on that. Everyone talks about that. We're here to talk about. I almost said Battle of the Exes because that's what we just finished watching, but we're watching Total Madness right now. And did you watch episode 1?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I didn't know because I didn't see you tweet about it last week.
I feel like I was in a miserable mood that day, and misery loves company. So
that was the day you didn't text me back. So.
Well, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
100%.
What are your thoughts so far from episode 1 before we kind of get into tonight? And what we'll do is I'll kind of go through our sequential list, and anytime you have anything to talk about, just jump in.
Yeah. So are you going to do that for episode 1 too? Because I kind of remember.
No. We've already done our episode 1 recap.
This is just for tonight.
I know you don't have notes prepared or anything.
No, I know. Just give me a subject so I can speak on it.
Okay, so what did you think after the premiere last week?
The first time I fell asleep, but that was nobody's fault but myself.
Okay.
The second time, I thought it was pretty dope. I think it would be weird maybe from a viewer's point of view who has never seen the show before, because it started off with a lot of old drama. Mm-hmm. But I mean, at the end of the day.
Have you noticed that they don't do any sort of intros anymore? They don't introduce who people are. It's just they throw you right in and it's just going. And they've done that the last few seasons, especially going back and watching old ones. They used to have pre-produced things that dances and stuff people had to learn.
Yeah. No, I actually have noticed that. So you don't get that full introduction into a person, but maybe that happens when they first start coming around more. I don't know. It's all kind of crazy.
Do you have any feelings about any of the new people so far?
I really like Jay.
Yeah, we like Jay.
Cool. I think he's chill. Bailey kind of scares me. She's either the person that I'm going to become best friends with, or the person that I'm going to get after. But she kind of reminds me a lot of Devon, so I think that we'd end up actually getting along really well.
Both big brother.
Yeah. Then there's the new girl, Jennifer or Jenny.
Jen, I think. Jenny's the British one.
Okay.
Jen's the one that went home tonight.
Yes. Jen deserved it.
Yes.
And I had really no opinions of her, and I actually tried to be opinionless for the majority of the episode, being listen, it comes with the territory. Mm-hmm. You walk in, you're a hot, fresh piece of meat. All the guys are showing you attention. like girls will do in any situation that girls will do. We don't. So like you have to come into the party and you have to join the girl group. You know, it's like it's a party foul.
So I actually read on Twitter. I know it was Melissa for sure, but I think it was Anissa or somebody that said they actually like tried to reach out to her after the whole meeting with Wes and them, and like try to like be girls and like, hey, this is what you should do. And she basically said, screw you guys, don't care. And so they're like, well, if that's how you're going to act, then whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've seen anyone in the last few seasons come off as strategically and mentally unprepared for this game as she did. It was kind of bizarre to watch it. The whole what greetings, Earthlings?
Yeah, that was so weird.
Pretty good indicator of where she was at mentally for this game.
I feel like she didn't know what show she signed up for.
It's not a good look for anyone else coming from over from the Amazing Race.
I think she signed up for any show that would give her a contract. That's what she did. So she just wanted to be back on TV.
So
I could see that.
Do you know who Eric Andre is? The guy, the real crazy guy that does like an Adult Swim show with Hannibal Buress?
No.
Okay. Well, I found out that she was on one of his web shows a while back, and it was like Hot Girls of Instagram, and he just tries to like creep them out. And I didn't know who she was before this season. We don't watch Amazing Race. So she's the first person ever from the Amazing Race to be on the challenge.
Oh, she is?
Yeah. She was very proud about that, although I don't think she necessarily represented them very well.
It's an Amazing Race. What are you going to do? Keep going.
I've never actually watched that show.
Exactly. Me either.
Have you watched it, Jake?
I have not.
Yeah.
No.
See?
Well, there you
go. They don't belong here.
Yeah, if none of us watched it, get out of here.
Yeah.
To be fair, we've never watched Big Brother either.
No,
or
but at
Survivor,
least like we know a little bit more about Big Brother, and then Survivor. We've seen enough of Survivor to kind of know how it goes.
I watched the first couple Survivor seasons, so like I know how Survivor works.
I've never actually watched Survivor.
I remember like when it came out in like 1999, and it was like a big deal because that was like one of the first big like network reality shows or competitions.
I don't know, but Naked and Afraid is hilarious.
Yes, I have watched a little bit of that, and I'm like, this is a whole genre on its own.
My favorite part of that is like the really like rugged guys who come in there thinking it's no big deal, and then they get super sunburned the first day and can't move. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would like step off and step back on, like, see ya, good luck.
So let's kind of like run through tonight's episode, and Merrie, again, feel free to jump in whenever you want. The people are paying but not really paying, but they're here to hear you this episode for sure. So CT, it kind of jumps in with him right away, and he's saying, you know, the strategy going forward is going to be friends throwing other friends, like Bones, basically like, oh, this person's in there and they suck, I'm going to let my friend be the person that jumps in, which is kind of what we speculated last week.
Yeah.
But it's just a weird strategy because we've never seen you have to go into an elimination and win to go to the final. And a lot of people, including CT, self-admittedly said, you know, that's what his whole career has been, is just to scare people into not going against him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be a weird season. Just Jordyn took the exact opposite approach, saying he's just going to leave it to fate. But I feel like even if he didn't want to do that, he would just say that because he's been filmed, because that's kind of how Jordyn is.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the interesting part about this whole season, though, because I feel like most of these like hardened vets, if you will, and people who have won, that's been most of their game plan, right? Is avoiding elimination.
Ashley Mitchell said the same thing.
Yeah, man, as it should be. I think it's interesting, but I think that they're doing it wrong in the sense where, obviously Jenny caught on to it quickly about getting in there and getting a win, but now she has to take it to the final. And now all of these girls are left to go against whoever. So if you're towards the bottom of the line, you're kind of blank, if you know what I'm saying.
she can still be called in again. Like, you can still go after Jenny, but no one's gonna want to.
That's the point. No one's gonna have to go. Jenny has a safe ride to like wherever she's going.
I will say, like, I'll give D a little bit of a pass, and we'll talk about it. Being blindsided when you're up there on the stand is a little bit different than like knowing you can call yourself in
and then not doing it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I have 100% sympathy for her.
Okay, so we'll get to that in a minute. Apparently Big T has been training. Big T's the most confusing callback for this season I think we've seen. We're not really sure why she's here. Maybe she makes a different some different strides this season, but her getting the little nameplate that says that she's a vet after going home like week 1 last season.
Yeah, she was the first girl to go home the last season she was on. What was it, World of Worlds 2?
Yeah, it was last season.
Okay, so she was the first girl to go home, but I think she was the second person in the whole house to go home.
Yeah, I think that Shaun guy went home first. Did you
That's
watch
right, 'cause he
the
cried
last
a
couple
lot.
seasons, Merrie?
I have.
Okay.
And I think so. The thing I like about
Are you cooking right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I just saw a big thing of spices.
I'm starving.
That's fine.
So basically, yeah, I'm a big red pepper fan. Big red pepper. So the thing that I like about Big T is that she's not big at all, right? So that like there's people out there who are of like smaller stature, but when you're speaking to them, they come off like they're 6 foot.
Do you feel like she's one of those people?
I feel like she has to be if she's called Big T.
I don't know, because again, Chris, which I'm not going to call him Swaggy C, he gave himself that nickname and talks about himself in the third person as Swaggy, and like sometimes it can go both ways to where you give yourself a nickname just because you want marketability or whatever like that.
Well, I'm sure that's probably the case, but whatever. He's doing it.
He sure is. I mean, I guess so.
As far as Big T is concerned, she said that she spent the entire offseason training to be more prepared to come back on the show.
Yeah.
Part of me hopes that that's true because for her to get a callback, I want to see what she has to offer to, the audience and to the game. But also I think she's so cute. I just can't get over it. She's so cute.
Yeah.
So
I like her. She reminds me of LaToya from like my show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I think she can have a big attitude, but she's just like cute as hell. You just want to like wrap her up and put her somewhere close.
I know.
Stick her in your pocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, LaToya seemed to have more of like an attitude to back up what she's talking about.
Well, LaToya is like me, so like she's always gonna have an attitude, especially if people are putting her in.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that Big T. She's a little bit of a weaker LaToya. Like no one's gonna be LaToya, but
yeah.
I do enjoy her. Like I just genuinely like her. I feel like
she seems to be more passive.
I hope she proves me wrong. It's just like again going home week 1 last season, not really showing much.
Okay, guys, but again, do we see her stature or not? Like, she's a little girl. Yeah. It doesn't matter how much she works out. If she's going after Tori, it's not going to work.
No,
well,
probably
Jenny
not.
lost to Tori last season. Like,
well, that's whatever. That's in the past. We need to let that go.
Okay. So this is kind of where we get the first glimpse of Jen and Rogan kind of talking over a chessboard for some reason. That's apparently the move this season. And Dee and Tori, I don't know if they're actually like watching like what the cameras made it look like or if that was cut from something else. It looked
sure they weren't that close.
It looked like they were right around the corner, but it feels like they weren't.
There's no shot.
Yeah.
There's no shot. We're like, girls are girls, but we're not going to be like literally in.
No, not like out in the open like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't speak to that. Can you give me that pen real quick? Thank you.
Well, I can speak to it, and basically, like, there's no way they were that close, and being like, and like her being like, oh, you watch me in my sleep? Well, do you not sleep? How do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
Sorry.
I didn't.
No,
get
it's
that.
fine. Like Jen confused me this entire episode. Just some of the things she said. There were so many things she said that I'm like, I don't understand what you're trying to get across.
Well, we'll talk about her a lot in a minute. The next thing that really happened was the daily, the airdrop extraction is what it's called. Apparently, random teams were picked. Some teams were way more stacked than the others. Do you have any insight?
Always random.
Do you think it's not really random?
Nothing's random. I've come to find out.
Okay, there we go.
Because
Jordyn, Jenny, and Wes on one team,
and then they did the worst out of the 3 that made the final.
Yeah, it didn't really seem to matter too much.
People forget that it's a reality show. I forget that it's a reality show when I'm filming it.
Yeah.
Like, there's been times I can remember where I've been like, are they trying to tell me something and I don't know, whatever. But at the end of the day, like, if everyone was on, like, equal-ish teams, like, that doesn't show any kind of, like, brute force. Like, who's the teams to be now? Because they have a story to tell.
So what you're saying is they didn't necessarily plan for Corey D and self-proclaimed Swaggy C to show out in this challenge.
No, but I think that, like, the teams were set up in a way that, like, they could.
So what's your take so far on Fessy? And I will let you know that we're interviewing him this weekend, so just putting that out there. So
that doesn't scare me at all. What are you guys saying?
We're interviewing D tomorrow too, so.
Fessy, I like Fessy. I think he's not starting to. He's brolic. He's bigger than DP.
Yeah, he's much bigger than I expected.
Yeah, he seems smart.
He went to college right down the road from us. Apparently, we didn't know that.
Yeah, there's no real reason not to like him yet.
Everything that I've seen about him, even just like random tweets, everybody seems to really like him, and he seems to be like one of those guys that everybody wants to root for.
Yeah.
Again, we didn't watch Big Brother, but when we announced that we were interviewing him and D, like, that thing took off with, quote, Fessy stands and all that kind of stuff. And we got...
Yeah, no, they love him so much.
Yeah, we got like 50 new followers just off that tweet, and we're like, we don't even know anything about him yet. At that point, it had been one episode, so... basically, they're running in teams, and you got to carry 15 of those weight packs or whatever they are, a mile down the whatever. And again, some teams are way more stacked than others. And
poor Josh, he had Bailey and Jen on his team.
Listen, I tweeted tonight. I was like, I've been very critical of Josh. I was like, but he is a good guy. Like,
yeah,
he's a good guy.
Him.
I think
I love Josh.
His critical thinking is insane to me sometimes. When it comes to strategy, but I do think he's a really nice guy. I
did question one thing that he said during this. He said that, he's like, I know Bailey has already proved herself, but I'm worried about how Jen's going to perform. This is like, we're like, 15 minutes into episode 2. What have we seen Bailey do to prove herself? Like, did she really perform very well?
I don't even remember what the last daily was.
It was the one pulling the medical barrels.
Yeah. We can't hear you. I don't know if something happened.
Well, did she?
There we go.
Did she perform well?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
It wasn't anything memorable for sure.
But it wasn't last.
No, it wasn't last.
Well, the way that the tank took like 5 people out at a time, it seems.
Yeah. Well, there's people like, listen, when you're in one of these houses and like you have a very athletic woman walking around, because I don't know if you follow her on Instagram, but she is built.
We just started.
She's a brick house. She's a brick house. And there's just those women that you could look to and be like, you're athletic. Mm-hmm. So like, and then there's her attitude too.
Oh yeah.
Which people could be like annoyed by it or whatever, but it's there. And people are intimidated by that too,
So
yeah, she definitely, like, she's one I want to see, like, when put in a spot to have to back that up. Like, she comes off to me as someone who can back it up. Like, a lot of times you can see the false vibrato. I think she's got it.
Vibrato.
Did I say? Vibrato? Did I say it wrong?
Bravado.
Bravado.
Yeah.
What?
Vibrato is like when you sing.
Vibrato.
Yeah. So anyway, no, but I don't know. I get this vibe off her. I like to think I'm a good judge of character. I get this vibe off of her that she may have the goods to back it up.
Well, I hope she does, and I really want to see it.
Again, people are excited that she was coming on this season. Again, we don't watch Big Brother, so we can't. We have patrons that really love Big Brother, and they can tell us all day long all about them. But it kind of just washes over me after a while because we were going to watch one of them during the off season, and then we found out they're like 40-something episodes each. And so we're like, just kidding. We don't have time to do that.
Yeah. Well, the Big Brother people, and I guess the few that they've pulled from. Actually, no. There's only a few from the UK that like we care about. But out of the BB people that they've pulled, I feel like they've pulled some really interesting characters. Like, there's no one that came on that you don't remember it in some sort of way.
I could see that.
Was Jose from Big Brother?
Yeah.
Yes.
See,
that's why he and Davon were.
Oh, that's right.
Partners.
I like the UK editions, if I'm being 100% honest. Like, I don't think there's been very many flops from the UK.
Entertainment-wise.
I love the UK guys.
Yeah.
I think they're hilarious. But, like, the Ashley dude, he was weird.
Ashley Kane?
He was allegedly on steroids, and that's why he was so big.
Well, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
But, like, who was questioning? So I didn't, like, really get him. Then they did something weird with some Nolan twins. They were from Big Brother. They were cute and all, but coming into a house as like having your sister there, like that's even worse than having a best friend coming in.
I still don't know which one is which or which one made the final cut, if I'm being totally honest.
I don't know either, but regardless.
So basically, again, we all watched the show. We're not going to go over everything. The three teams that made it were to the final part were Jordyn, Jenny, and Wes, Fessy, Kyle, and Melissa, and then D, Corey, and Chris, because I will not say his nickname. And at that point, they're just up in a helicopter throwing 9 ammo crates off, trying to hit something. It is a disadvantage to go first in something like that, but man, I don't know if Jordyn was way off or what, but that first team sucked.
But I don't know if this would have been one that you would have had an advantage having gone second or third because they're up in a plane or a helicopter.
Yeah, it's not like you really have to like.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened with Jordyn because it seemed like Wes and Jenny were throwing it when he said, and
it wasn't even close.
There were a couple that were like 50 yards away. It looked like. And I don't know. He got like really upset about that. And then of course Bananas and people like that are gonna just like lay on to it because they know it bothers him.
Yeah, I really liked the swaggy. First off, I think Corey ever since he had a child. I mean this in the most sincere way. Because I've obviously gotten to see him as a person and on TV. He really, truly is like a completely changed guy in the way that he like handles things and acts mature. So it's just like it's nice to I feel like be seeing a part of Corey that people haven't really gotten to like really see yet. Mm-hmm. Like he's loyal and he'll tell you like what it is. I love Dee. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, we love Dee. We love Dee.
Freaking hilarious.
She is really funny.
And I really didn't think that I was going to like Swaggy coming onto this, especially because he was like talking a lot of shit on Twitter and all of this stuff. But so far, like, I don't think he's bothered me at all. You know, he's keeping low. Like
he was the one that was talking a lot of crap about the challenge in general. For a while, and then he got cast on it.
Do you think that was so that he could get cast?
Probably.
Listen. Yeah.
100%. He's the same guy who went into Big Brother and handed out T-shirts of his name to everyone. So when he got kicked off, they still wore them.
Smart guy.
Again, I'm not gonna. He does rub me the wrong way because it's every one of his Instagram stories is like, what $150,000 BMW should I buy? The black one or the orange one? And it's like, all right, we get it. Like, I don't know. He just comes across.
I didn't know he did that. Annoying.
Oh yes, it is all. He's like, I made $5,000 this morning. No big deal.
Swaggy, if you listen to this, like, cut that out because like you're doing good otherwise.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just annoying because it's like, all right, we get it.
If you just be a normal person, people are gonna like you.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking to Corey, like I actually made note at one point during this episode that I'm actually intrigued to see how he does this season, because this is the first season we've seen him on post-kid, right? Like there's clearly a lot more motivation behind that.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah.
Is that right? He hasn't been on since, what was it? Was it Dirty 30?
I don't even
Final
remember.
Reckoning?
Bob started. Corey's the king of TV right now.
Yeah, he's all over everything.
He's going from Teen Mom, which is like a real legit show, to the challenge the very next day. Like he owns the show right now.
Yeah, it's not a turn I expected to see from him, if I'm being honest, when he first showed up on the challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it helps to have a kid, and that gets you on another show, but
yeah. Merrie, did you burn your food?
No.
It looks black on the bottom.
Oh, this is actually a bagel, and I'm heating it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that like poppy seeds?
You know it.
Yeah, it looks like he just burned to a crisp whatever you were cooking.
Terrible.
No, I have noticed from what I've seen of Corey on the show. Like I do follow him on Instagram and stuff, and so I like keep up with him a little bit. But I mean, even just seeing him now on the show versus the last season that he was on before he found out that Cheyenne's baby was his, he is very much like a totally different person. It is almost like a breath of fresh air when it comes to him. And so I am excited to see how well he does this season going forward.
He to me, he's probably the most unproven guy still from that whole like Young Bucks crew.
More so than Nelson?
I think I would be much more afraid of Nelson in an elimination than...
I personally think Nelson has way outperformed Corey to this point. I'm not necessarily saying that makes him better at this game, but to this point, I personally think Nelson has outperformed Corey.
They've called Corey popcorn muscles for years now, but for not exactly having the best record.
Yeah, well, listen... Corey's the one that like built up that whole little side hating bananas, you know, like he like started in that. Yeah. Like, so people won't forget that. And he really is a great competitor and an even better guy. And I feel like hopefully they start to show that, because I think they've gotten to show it now on Teen Mom. But like it kind of crosses over, and it's fun to watch people grow up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're named after CT in some of his like darkest moments of all time, where we thought he was going to murder someone on the first night, and then like he's done a complete 180. So like it is good to see that. And then you have people like Bananas, who are just the same person forever.
Yeah.
Basically, Jordyn, Wes, and Jenny did terrible. They got 2 crates, Fessy and Melissa and Kyle. I thought they were going to win it with 7, and then Corey, whatever he was doing. For D and Chris, man, they 9 of 9, which I didn't think would be possible.
It's very impressive, for sure.
You know, they did what they did. So right away, D wants Jen to go in because, again, they kind of set that whole angle up already.
Yeah.
What
do you guys think? How would you feel if you were in her situation?
So, well, I can't speak to that as much, but I do know.
You can speak to that.
Well, we were going to interview Dee on Tuesday, and then I texted her, and I said, hey, I was like, I see your name is in the episode title for this week. I was like, is there anything you want to talk about that you can't until after it airs? And she's like, oh, yeah, I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. And so we're recording with her tomorrow.
When she talked to Tori about it, she had said how, you know, her being on Team UK with Jenny, that was where her loyalty was, because they were like genuinely friends last season. And so she was saying, you know, Jenny is my number 1 because we go back farther, I guess, was the explanation. But I don't know.
Tori ended up on the UK team, though, right?
Yeah, Tori and Jordyn both ended up on the UK team because they switched. And then Tori had the argument that, you know, we helped win you that final, and so you got $250,000 because of us. And so,
yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's all a bunch of BS. on both of their sides. Like, you can't like be like, oh, you helped me last time, you're gonna help me this time. Like, you heard Tori in the interviews as well. Like, clearly it's not a great friendship if that's her going into your interviews as, like, you don't owe people. The thing on the challenge is the biggest problem is you have to remember that you don't owe people.
Yeah.
Because I've had so many times where I feel like I've like gotten out and put myself in a situation for other people when, like, if you really want to take this seriously, like, you should do that. And also, at the end of the day, the majority of us can like laugh about it, Yeah,
like that. So we just finished rewatching in the off season Battle of the Exes 2, which is when Sarah finally like decided she's not going to be nice and be everyone's friend, and it didn't. She won the season, but she also like crossed bananas, which is what led to Rivals 3 and all that.
Yep.
So like I do agree, like you can't try to like be friends with everyone and say, oh well, this season I did this for you and whatever. Like it's a new game every season. Like,
well, especially this one because it's kind of like a free agent style, and so at the end of the day, you're only responsible for yourself.
Yeah, I would have no allegiance or tried not to. I mean, I can't speak unless you're in the situation, but we saw it on free agents that like sometimes it's you're by yourself, sometimes you're in teams of 2, sometimes you're in teams of 8 or what. You never know. So
honestly, I don't think it is or should be that big of a deal, no matter who Dee chooses to go in. I mean, like if she were to chose Tori, I don't think Jenny would have been upset about it.
If you're Jenny, I wouldn't really be worried about hardly anyone because she's probably going to beat 90% of the people she goes against because like she's just huge. I mean, unless she sucks at puzzles or something, we just don't know. And that's what TJ said when she won tonight was she would have beat anyone here, not just like any other girl. Like he's like he would have beat me, would have beat everyone standing up there. Because I mean, man, she's huge. She has a twin sister who's apparently built just like her.
I know, I've seen pictures.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What'd you think of, and Jake, you too, because we haven't talked to you about it, the whole Wes and Bananas guiding her in the speech?
Jen.
Oh my God.
First off, I love this dynamic.
I do too. It's great.
I forgot that they were aligned, and then I was like, oh, yeah.
I think, like, it's like when you, me being a wrestling fan, which has been well documented on this show, it's like when you see these two guys going at it match after match, year after year, and then they partner up just out of nowhere. You don't see it coming, and it's this weird little thing. You don't necessarily know how to feel about it, but it's new. Therefore, you really enjoy it. And I don't know, man. Like, I think there's still like this disdain toward each other, but there's also this mutual respect. But I think it's fun, man. I think it's fun, like how they're kind of partnering up on, because this felt like what happened with Jen tonight. This felt like a total West move, and Bananas was just like, all right, we're in this together. Let's go for it.
Again, we've interviewed Wes, and like we get the feeling that like they love just messing with each other, like, and they realize that that's such a big part of the show. Like, I don't think if they saw each other like out in a club, like they're gonna be like, oh, I can't believe he's here, let's fight. Like, they know what they bring to the show at this point. They've been doing it forever. And I love this new dynamic, like, personally. Like, I think it's really funny because Bananas, the last handful of seasons, hasn't really done much. And this is a good angle for him, I guess. It's 20th season. You're muted again. Yeah. I appreciate you doing it if you're eating and stuff. But.
Just trying to, like, hide my chomping of everything around me.
You're fine.
Yeah. What do you think of them and then the speech that they had her deliver?
Like, literally right out.
Like, good. Someone had to do it because she was on one. I don't care. Like, at first I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt because I know when a new person comes in and they're hot, like, immediately all the girls are like, especially because they usually don't talk to the other girls. You know, they come in and they'll say, they'll just go right to the boys, really.
Yeah.
And it's just as a girl, I'm sure that you feel this, and if you could be honest with yourself, it's that type of feeling. Like, it's like, oh, you're going to go be your alone self. Like the girl that's like, I only have guy friends because like, I don't like girls. No, you're just not a girl's girl.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
that
I mean, like,
I did.
anytime we saw Jen, I never saw her talking to any other girls in the house.
No.
And so, like, to me, that kind of speaks volumes.
Yeah, well, Jen's gonna be a one-hit wonder, so we don't have to talk about her that much.
I don't think she's
I
coming
don't
back.
expect her to come back at all.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, I'll say this: they better bring Shailene back before they bring her back.
They're never bringing
way.
Shailene back. Shailene is the most puzzling casting I've ever seen on this show.
It will never happen.
Do you remember Shailene?
I think so.
She was like on like The Bachelor Canada,
but she was like the first or second person sent home on her season of The Bachelor.
I don't know.
And that's how she got cast on here.
Yeah.
Here's my stance, Merrie. Okay, like everybody gets some sort of birthday bash on the challenge usually, and she did not get one. So it was her birthday during one of the episodes, and I am putting out a petition to have a proper birthday bash thrown for Shailene at some point.
I mean, that's rude. Sorry.
No. Oh, trust me, we're way beyond that. I when they go out a lot of times at night, if it's someone's birthday, they'll typically show it.
Or they'll still talk about it.
Yeah, and
nothing.
Nobody said a word.
I was on her Instagram. She had like 1,500 followers, like total. And I got on there, and she posted pictures with a lot of the cast. It's like, oh, my night out. And I was like, that is
it was all the same outfits everybody was wearing.
And they just cut it completely out of the show. And so ever since then, Jake's wanted to give her a birthday bash.
I have.
Well, you should reach out and let her know that.
I think he's tried.
Dropping the DMs is what you're saying.
Well, it's not like she can meet up with her anyway, so it's a great excuse to just give her a call and wish her a happy birthday.
Sure. I would be totally for having her on here.
Do you remember her?
That's the one. Yeah.
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 And even if we've got to give her a virtual birthday bash,
actually
I'm here for it.
One of our patrons made a shirt that says Shailene's birthday bash on it.
That was my team's fantasy football team name. Yeah.
I love that.
So we get into the like purgatory, not like the thing, but I guess
it's the house nominations.
The nomination for purgatory or whatever. And Bananas.
Wait, is this before or after the whole like you sleep and watch me or whatever that girl was saying, Jenny?
This is
right before. It was right before because everybody nominates.
So
her.
This is the greetings Earthlings speech right here.
Yeah.
So they thumbs up. Yeah. They Bananas like, hey, we're gonna call this meeting to order. Wes is gonna take minutes, and Wes condescendingly explains to everyone what that means, and then he's like, I believe Jen has something she wants to read, and then I can't believe she went for it. And this was her opening line was, greetings, Earthlings. And Anissa's face is one of the best faces I've seen on this show.
Top notch. I loved it. But like what really got me was like as Jen was going through her speech, you could tell like this was obviously the things that she had written down from her meeting with Wes and Bananas, and then Corey and Nelson joined in, and then Bear joined in, and so they were all like throwing out things for her to put into her speech.
So here's an interesting note from that was from some of the cast that were on there was apparently like a last minute effort from like Nelson and Corey and some of the other guys to save Jen and keep her in the game, and then Wes got in there and nominated her first and didn't care what anyone said.
Well, what got me was you could tell she took some time to try and memorize this speech because she had started saying some things like verbatim that Wes had said and told her to write down, and that was just.
So that whole part, like when they were telling her stuff, I didn't realize she was actually taking their advice.
She was right.
Yeah, she got up and left the room to go get a notepad and started writing things down.
That was dumb.
There were a lot of dumb things here.
Yeah. I assume heavily that she's a one-hit wonder.
She even used the like stock analogy that Wes threw out there. And I was like, come on, like you definitely didn't come up with this.
Yeah, like
and, so immediately Wes just desires Jen, and then it goes around the room, and like I think Big T got like 3 votes or something, but
Rogan nominated Big T. He's like, I can't vote for Jen.
And then Bananas just, why not try to cause more chaos?
And then CT did too, but that was it. It stopped.
So yeah, it's Jen, and no one is threatened by her at this point. Like, she hasn't proven anything. Josh was carrying her ammo crate or whatever it was most of the time. And
after this was when everybody was kind of in the common area eating, and Jen and Dee are sitting across from each other, and that's when Jen's like, you've been going around the house campaigning against me. She says this, and Dee's like, what did I say? And Jen said, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, you don't have an argument.
Before that, though, she's talking about Wes, and she's like, he's such a jerk. He threw me onto the bus. And I was like, that's not what that phrase is.
I forgot about that.
Like, if you're on the bus, you're fine. And later she said something else. I didn't write it down.
No, it's at the end. I got so many people texted it to me.
But yeah, this is where the D and like Jen thing at the like dinner table comes from. And Rogan's right there, and I don't know what really happened. It escalated.
You watch me in my sleep.
And you know what? This is the point that I decided my feelings about the new Jen. I was giving her the benefit of the doubt, and then I was sitting there watching it, and I'm like, why is nobody shutting her up? You know, like, I feel like I would have been the person to be like, are you kidding me? Like, just the way she did it is just that girl. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't describe it, but like, that's
you know what it is.
Yeah, like, and that's the girl.
And no other girls are going to like her for it.
Yeah, it was weird, and she didn't really have any, like, a leg to stand on as far as, like, her argument, but they were like, D watches you in your sleep, and then it cuts to, like, a camera of D, but she was, like, pulling her covers up, like, no one was around, and it was, like, in the middle of the night, and I don't know, it wasn't showing her watching anybody. Again,
it's also like a saying, but also if I want to watch you, I'm gonna watch you.
Oh, D said
I'm gonna watch you when you sleep. I'm gonna watch you when you wake up because I don't trust you.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think you're right. I don't think we're ever gonna see her.
And then
back.
She's like playing like the little like, but like I don't want to piss off this girl who like won the last challenge. Like, shut up. Put a shirt on.
Did she have her shirt on?
She was wearing like a little like cutout bikini that didn't fit.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
It was when they were playing chess, because I was like, why are you not wearing a shirt?
Hey,
newsflash,
they were not playing chess.
Yeah, mind you, they're like in their own quarantine, like little underboot thing. Like, who does that? That would be just annoying. Sorry.
No,
there'll be a lot of people who like are like, oh my god, you're a hater, and maybe I am, but like,
I get it. I get it.
I can guarantee you, there's not a lot of people out there that are going to be Jen defenders or whatever.
You'll be surprised.
Trust me,
there will be some.
If anything has taught me to be surprised, it's the challenge Twitter and all that. So I'm sure we're going to hear it from somebody. But again, she got nominated, and then. That's where we kind of find out that Dee and Jenny kind of had a pact to be best friends, and Jordyn is really upset by that, and he's like, well, we did all this for her. We kind of talked about that earlier. The weird move was Tori bringing Dee into a locker, like Saved by the Bell
like
style.
A confessional.
Yeah. And trying to like get her to like, hey, I'm not threatening you, but here's this. And we go into the tribunal interviews after that, and Dee's like, hey, they were threatening me, but they were saying they weren't. So I don't know. It was a weird move. The interviews are basically Big T, Jenny, and then Tori. Big T didn't stand a chance to go in against Jen at that point. I think they just needed a third name.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm impressed by, though, when we see this, like, you know, after this deliberation when Dee is talking to Wes, which Wes even points out how impressive Dee is, you know, thinking on into the game and everything. Like, she's truly, to me at least, carrying herself like she won something, which she did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm a big fan of what Dee's doing right now and how she's carrying herself. Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't pay attention to it as much, but I don't know how often I see that where someone wins for the first time and they come back and they are playing like they just won.
Well, she's being very strategic.
And she was like counted out as the weak link on their team for a long time last season. And then she
proved herself.
She put it together. And so again, we interviewed Dee before the very first episode of War of the Worlds 1. We didn't know anything about her. And like the turn that she's taken to make it to where she is now, like it's a nice character arc to see.
It's impressive, and I'm happy to see it.
She's on her high horse a little bit. She does have to chill a little bit.
Well, we'll talk to her about it tomorrow. We'll see what she says.
I love her. I just spoke to her, but yeah, we talked about it.
She again, she's got some things she's gonna want to say. I did write she's manipulative, but in like a good like game way, not like she's just trying to screw everyone over. Dee, like again, she's taking a lot of notes from Wes because again they were on this team together.
No, I don't think. I feel like you're wrong in giving Wes the credit. Like I think she needs to get her own credit. I'm done with everyone saying it's Wes.
Here we go.
They're team quad squad though.
No, it doesn't matter. Wes, like everyone knows that Wes is a backstabber, and I'm sure Dee does too. Like she has that in the back of her mind at all times. What happened is that she didn't like the girl that came in the house. She was rude. She was annoying in many ways to her that like a lot of people out there would agree with if they just like took a second and realized what is life, you know? And she's a rookie on top of all of it. So you're not pissing off anybody. Like you're not doing anything. And like, until they like mentioned those rules, she was in a position now to save like one of her friends essentially.
Yeah.
Right. And like Tori, I totally understand it, whatever. Like, but at the same time, like, yes, she won that final with you guys, but that like now she has to look out for herself.
Yeah. Like when we get into the purgatory or whatever, like we didn't know before tonight that the tribunal could vote themselves in. The guys last week didn't know that. They weren't allowed to do it. Rogan actually got on Twitter and said that they had no clue, and he said he was glad that they didn't know because he's like, I probably would have volunteered myself, and he's like, I couldn't have hung up there with Asaph or
you guys follow Rogan on Twitter?
We follow everyone that's on the seasons that we're on.
Ugh. Take whatever he tweets with a grain of salt, that's for sure.
Well, I believe it was in response to Scott from Challenge Mania saying like,
take it as a grain of salt.
Listen, we haven't talked to him honestly. Like, you know, he may lie to everyone. He sure manipulated Dee, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So
be manipulated.
In the tribunal again, the pressure obviously is on Dee to jump in there after everything that's happened. I'm on the side of, I get it was an easy elimination and Jen's the weakest person in the house, but like there's a difference in knowing like beforehand that you can go in against somebody and like preparing yourself.
Oh yeah.
Dee was in jeans. They said she was hungover from the night before.
I'm sure.
Like that's not the same as like thinking like you can call yourself up at any point. So like she thought she was voting in either Tori or Jenny.
Yeah.
And so like I get why people
are
upset.
And on top of that, she doesn't like the girl down there. So why like one of my first thoughts would have been like, one, I'm not prepared. Like this is like something I didn't see coming. But like two, what if I lose to her?
Well, she said that. She's like,
that's worse.
She's like, if I lose to her, she's like, I'm never gonna live this down.
That's so much worse.
Yes.
Because it's like lifelong embarrassment after like the big yelling match they had. I mean, people would remember that. No, I mean, like, after watching what the actual elimination was, it was mostly just, like, lower back and arm strength. You didn't really need to run or squat or do anything like that. So she may have been able to do that in her jeans if she was able to, like, mentally pump herself up. But the fact that she chose not to go in.
They would probably
let her change.
Have an outfit.
I would hope so.
It was maybe 2 seasons ago when Amanda and Zach did not know that they were going in and they got in a big fight and couldn't whatever. She had to do it in jeans that she was wearing.
Well, I don't think production expected that at all, to be honest with you, when that happened.
Yeah, because it wasn't like, oh, you can nominate yourself. It was that they couldn't decide on somebody, and TJ was like, if you can't decide, you're going in.
But listen, let's all be very, like, I think we all know that production is not fair as far as making the same rules for every person apply throughout different seasons. And so I don't know what they would have done. I don't blame Dee. I think Dee, if she would have went down there, could have handled this hungover in jeans with one arm and beat her.
So yeah, I absolutely think she still could have beat Jen pretty easily, but
I think she said that too.
I still don't blame her for playing it safe because she wasn't prepared. If something were to go wrong, I mean, you put yourself in that position for no reason.
Yeah. I'm on the side of I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. I get what you guys are saying, but at the same time, I think it was pretty evident this Jen girl ain't cut out for this.
No.
And so, like, we can sit here and say, well, what if you go down and lose to this girl who has not made the best first impression when it comes to this game? But what if you have to go down there against Tori 2 or 3 weeks from now? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my question too. Is like, you got an opportunity to get that red skull right now, and I think this borderline rivals Casey level. Merrie, you're on mute again.
I know. I realized that, and I kept letting you talk.
You were talking, and I was like pointing. And I was like, "You're muted. You're muted."
I know. Keep going, because now I forgot what I was going to say.
No, like my whole point was like, this is an opportunity for you to get that red skull, and like if she has made it pretty evident that she's just not cut out for this game. So like the question may be now, well, what if you go down and lose to this girl you've talked a bunch of trash to? But what if 3 weeks from now you go down and you have to face the likes of someone who's done this before, even if it's like, you know, one of your friends, right? Kayla, Nani.
Yeah, I think this will be the only time that a situation like this happens, just because she was blindsided.
Yeah.
With the opportunity to go in. And listen, it's one of the tactics that we use all the time, like where everyone wants to keep it hidden from the person that's going in, because it really it messes with their mind so much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that it was a mix of things. And I think that maybe looking back, she would have done something differently. But with that first drop the bomb, you're on the spot then, and I wouldn't be happy they're chilling and be like, yeah, let's go.
Well, and to be fair, she didn't know how the elimination worked yet. You could see down there, but you didn't know what you were doing. I think if they would explain what it was, again, I agree with Jake. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I've just seen everyone jumping on D oh, you should have done it. What an idiot. You should. And I was like, I don't think it's one way or the other.
Yeah, no. You know what? Everyone's going to jump on D right now because everyone they need to have someone on the show that they hate. That's the bottom line.
Well, I'm sure we're only on episode 2. I'm sure somebody else will come up and take that spot.
It's 100% going to happen. So
have I missed the boat? Do people hate D? Have I missed that?
They've just been giving her a lot of rogue, but it's human nature. And if people can actually pull that out of themselves and be like, which they can't even, because no one can really understand it unless you're one of us who has been in that situation. Mm-hmm. It drives anyone crazy.
Well, she said early on in the episode when they were doing the whole her and whoever she was with peering in on Jen and Rogan having that conversation. She said I'm not okay with him moving on yet. I think that's something in general, just in real life and regular living that people experience. I don't think that's just a challenge thing. That's a real thing, man.
And that Rogan's probably has been hitting her up since then. He's a narcissist kind of in the same Paulie way, where he hits up everyone and talks to them and keeps in the loop. He wants to be part of this thing. He really does. And I was just talking to Dee, and she was saying that he's still hitting her up right now and she's not answering him. He's just
good for her.
Yeah.
He's just thirsty. I mean, he's so thirsty. And I think that also comes across in the show. He does a lot better hiding it than say a Josh. Jossa with not the H, because I love Joss with the H.
She loves Joss with the S. She said that he's God's gift to the earth.
No.
Everyone thinks so, but if you speak to him for long, just kidding. He's actually a really good guy, but not the things that he's doing outside the show make me think less of him.
I don't.
Let me
I
correct
stopped
Zach.
following him a while
Jake
back.
correct me because I was wrong.
Yeah, Zach was wrong. So what Han was trying to say in that one episode where Joss was a big topic of discussion was that he's God's gift to women.
Yeah.
But Han, hyped up on NyQuil or whatever else she was on, said
it was a migraine pill.
Said that he's women's gift to the earth.
Yeah, just all women give it to the earth.
Yeah. So where do you stand on that, Merrie? Would you say he's a women's gift to the earth? Can you confirm that?
I'd say he's a woman.
Okay.
I was just gonna say in a purely physical means, because this was pretty early on with Joss.
No, he's a beautiful person. He is, right?
He's God's really gift. Pretty.
No, he is. He's good looking.
God's gift, I wouldn't say anyone's.
Well,
God's
she
gift.
said women's gift. To be fair.
Yeah.
No, we can do better, women. Come on, do better.
There's
listen. I was high at the time, so
there's nothing really to talk about with this elimination because it was one of the quickest eliminations I've ever seen. Jake just left, but it's fine.
I plugged my computer up. That's it.
Okay, but it was over, and Jen didn't even get one of those things swung. Like Jenny just was doing it one-handed.
Just flip them over.
I don't even know. I don't know if I've ever seen a more dominating win.
Sad elimination.
I'm sure we have, but it's been a while.
Yeah. Well, hate to see her go.
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect much from her, just from the little that I'd seen online going into this season. She didn't look like she was necessarily built for the challenge.
This was not the right show for her. I mean, I think Aneesa picked up on it pretty quickly because during the daily at one point, she was talking about how badly Jen struggled. And what was it? She said she has a full face looking her best and trying her least. And I'm like, yeah, that's about right.
That's profound. Han.
She just had one hand on the thing that Josh was carrying.
Yeah.
So what was the other thing that Jen said? Because I didn't write it down. Oh, she said arch nemesis.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Is that right?
She's
I'm just like so bored with talking about her. So
listen, Merrie, this is what we don't get paid to do.
Let Dee talk about her.
Oh, she will, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Save the goodness for them because I don't want to hear any more about that.
Well, I was going to ask you what you thought about her again one more time.
One more time.
Fine. What do I think about her?
I'm just kidding. I don't want you to talk about that. So at the end of the show, because we've hit everything other than Bear still wants to go after your best friends.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that later. We all know what happens, kind of.
Almost.
There's going to be more that happens that we want to talk about, like as a whole.
Yeah,
sure.
But if you follow any of them on social media, you know what happened. So we're spoiler free, so we're not going to get into that. We at the end of the show for our recaps, we do our superlatives, which is who smashed some heads, like MVP, who got their head smashed,
LVP.
So yeah, I got it. So
just making sure.
Jake, do you want to go first for who smashed some heads tonight?
Can I give it to, and considering he's coming onto the pod soon, I know he didn't win, but Fessy, under the radar, continue to be impressed with this guy.
I mean, he was top 2 last week, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to give it to him. He's coming on this weekend, I believe, and I'm going to give it to him just because I know you guys will probably go a different route. So Fessy smashed some heads tonight.
Yeah.
Hannah, you want to go?
I had Wes and Bananas for coaching Jen through her speech.
Listen, the fact that she did it, I will get to that. But for me, you know, I could give it to Jenny, but like it was such an easy out that I'm going to give it to Aneesa's face in the middle of that speech. That's the best part of the episode was like when she couldn't believe what's happening. We haven't seen a lot from Aneesa this season yet, but
I hope we get more
I hope we get
faces.
so many more of those moments from her.
I will just say to this point, I haven't been just in past seasons, haven't been a fan of Aneesa. I'm enjoying Aneesa this season.
Yeah,
I am.
So
she may give you back Flathead Jake.
Merrie,
that's okay.
I know that you weren't prepared for this, but if you had to say somebody smashed some heads tonight, who would it be?
I'm gonna say Corey.
Okay.
That was an option for me too. Yeah.
I think that Corey's playing a very, very, very smart game this time around. because he has connections to both Bananas and also the other kids on the other side. He's not causing drama. He's keeping it real, and like he's just adulting. Like
his signaling was spot on, 9 out of 9.
Yeah,
he impressed me quite a bit.
So, and I loved how during that tribunal deliberation, after Tori gave her spill again, like Dee looked over at him and she was like, "Are you swayed by that?" And he was just like, "No, I'm good."
See, I missed some of the deliberation because that's when I was texting you, Merrie, about trying to work out details, and so
sorry,
I missed a little bit of that. So that's why I kind of skipped over the deliberation. So Jake, who got their head smashed tonight?
How can you not give it to Jen? How can this not be a unanimous Jen? I know we're not supposed to talk about her anymore, Merrie, but how can it not be?
No, I agree.
But I think her head was smashed before she ever came into this house.
Amen.
There you go.
Yeah, and it's like she had. Do you guys know who Gallagher is? Like the comedian that used to smash watermelons with the big hammer.
Oh, Zach.
Great, good reference from me. Anyway, it's like it got smashed, and then like there's just a pile left, and then that's where Wes and Bananas are just playing around in what was left, and then she comes out and she starts talking, and everyone's looking at her like she doesn't have a head because it's gone already. And
hello, Earthlings.
Yeah, it turned into a whole weird thing that I didn't expect, and then probably one of the most pathetic eliminations I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was really bad.
So I am 100% fine making it a unanimous who got their head smashed.
Yeah, I gave it to Jen too. I think she smashed her own head, especially when during her speech, she was saying how, almost trying to be like a little bit entitled, like you should only give me another rookie or something like that.
Again, it was Ashley. I went back and looked, and it was Ashley and Melissa. They said they tried to reach out and help her, and she literally like said, "Talk to the hand," and they're like, "All right, you're done."
Yeah, no, we already knew about her.
Yeah.
Goodbye. So, she's the LVP.
That's what it is. We don't say that around here. We say who got their head smashed.
Sorry.
Got to keep it on brand.
All right, sorry, Zach.
So we also are doing another thing this season, which you're not prepared for, but we're
throwing you all kinds of curveballs.
Great.
Listen, all we're doing is at the end of each episode, we are suggesting one song that we like for whatever reasons, and then I'm making a Spotify playlist. And so at the end of the season, there's going to be a huge playlist of songs. So we would love to have your input on it, but I'll let Jake go first, and then you can be the last one to go so you can think about it. It doesn't have to be anything weird. Like, Hannah did a Doja Cat song last week. Jake and I will probably have weird ones, but...
Yeah. Yeah, patron Connor really dragged my suggestion through the mud.
Yeah, he did not like that.
He called it a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm
going to give it to a band called Issues. All right? Got some drivey guitar, but some real R&B elements vocally. A song called No Problem.
There you go. Uh-huh.
Just incredible groove. Love this band. The whole album came out a couple of months ago. Beautiful Oblivion.
It's really good.
Man, so good.
Dude, I started playing it at work next door to you, and then like 3 weeks later, you started playing the very song I was playing in there. And I was like, okay.
They work next door. Like, they share,
a wall. Not my song of the week. My song of the week is Waking Up Down by Yeji. It is spelled Yaeji. But it's really good.
I don't even know what you just said. For me, mine is a band called The Ongoing Concept, and it's a song called You Will Go. It
sounds sad, Zach.
It does.
It's not, though. It was a band. It's a kind of sad story now, though. It was a band that it was three brothers and their best friend, and they made like 3 albums, and then by the 3rd album, everyone left but one brother, and it's all new people, and he made this album by himself. And it's kind of a mix between like heavy stuff and like almost vocals that would remind you of like the Bee Gees, which is very strange sounding, but it's a really good song. It's called You Will Go by The Ongoing Concept. And Merrie?
Anything.
I'm going to go super old school, and I'm going to say Cruisin' by Smokey Robinson.
Okay.
That's definitely the oldest song we got on there so far.
I bet. I'm an old soul.
That's okay.
If you don't know it, listen, you'll love it.
We're trying
It's for like a top down kind of day, driving around in your car.
Yeah, when it's sunny out and there's not a quarantine.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna add all those onto the playlist. Like I've pinned that in like our Instagram, in our bio, and then some other things. So if you want to follow that, you can. A couple seasons ago, we did high school albums of the week because Jake and I accidentally started talking about that one day, and people wanted to hear more. So we've done movies. This year, we're just gonna do one song each, and then we're gonna just put it on a playlist so people can check it out. So, Merrie, you got anything you want to plug in this quarantine?
No, just everyone stay inside, stay healthy.
Wash your hands.
Don't do things that you shouldn't be doing. Wash your hands if you go out. Take your clothes off, put them in the wash, go in the shower. It's no joke, actually.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to get getting coronavirus is like getting like the cooties, for lack of a better word. You know, like nobody wants to get with you after you have the cooties.
Right.
Except one of these one is real and one is not.
Well, yeah, like I was gonna say AIDS and stuff, but I didn't want to like go there. You know? Like,
well, not quite to that, but like a guy that like we all three know. I don't even know if Jake knows this. That's in Memphis. He's like 24.
He's 23.
He's in the hospital.
He'll be 24 in 2 weeks.
He got it, double pneumonia, and they're like, the next 24 hours, like, we don't know. We're going to see. And, like, he's going to either get better or get worse, and then he may have to be in the ICU. So
I'm totally unaware.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say his name on here. But it's a guy about an hour away from us. I mean, it's happening everywhere. So just don't be dumb. My least favorite thing, and I tweeted about it from our account right now, is all of the like quote influencers and reality stars that are like using the stay home hashtag in one story, and then the next one they're like out with all their friends on a boat and whatever. And it's like, come on, like don't either do one or the other. Like don't be a hypocrite about it.
Well, on a much lighter note, since you're here, Merrie, and since we are doing some video here, and because he's right here, come here, big guy. I need your opinion on my dog.
Bringing his dog in again.
Our dog's downstairs.
Look at this guy.
It's a beautiful dog.
What do we think, huh?
I think it's a 10. Anything that's not a cat, you got me.
He has a cat down there, too.
He does have a cat now.
Well, now the score got lowered to like a 70.
There you go.
Your cat
you
brought
did
your
it.
dog down.
Hey, you want to see a neat trick, though? I've never seen a dog like this. Hey.
You're cutting out a lot.
Oh, my God.
I bet it's
Was that not adorable? Emma?
Just go with it.
So what I did, I won't do it again.
Merrie, did you see what happened? It cut out for us.
No, but I'm staring at my food right now. So
what I did
I didn't
was
see it either.
I told him I loved him, and he gave me a kiss. It was his own way of saying he loves me back. It's adorable. I love him. He's my guy.
Well, on that note, Merrie, we love you, and we're glad that you came back. Again, first confirmed interview. We're glad you're back. We're glad you're watching the season. We're glad you're staying safe and sane.
Yeah, we're trying.
And we always have fun with you. So
always,
this
both
was
times.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
sorry for all the mutes and the pauses. Like,
no, you're fine.
It's fine. You basically just turned into bananas and did your own cooking channel. It's no big deal. But again,
now you got to go make some TikToks.
Yeah. No.
No, thank you.
Nope.
So
anybody over 16 is too old for TikTok.
As we said earlier on, we're interviewing Dee tomorrow, and we're interviewing Fessy later this week. And actually, we're going to announce another interview in the next day or two. So
cool.
This was a surprise. Yeah. Again,
we've been busy.
You got it started for us, and being able to jump in here, it was a surprise, but we were glad you could do it. So we'll talk to you later, Merrie.
Yeah. Congrats, guys. Keep it going.
Thanks.